Welcome to the notes on congruent figures. Okay, in this lesson, we're going to describe what congruent figures are and how to identify their corresponding congruent parts. So first, remember, figures are congruent if they are the exact same shape and size. Okay, so we've talked about that before, but again, just reiterate, congruent, exact same shape and size. So a congruent statement, this is the most important thing that you guys will learn today. All right, a congruent statement relates one identical object to another by identifying the corresponding parts that match each other. Again, corresponding parts that match each other, really important. So just review, here is that congruent symbol here one more time. Remember, if you forget, all right, it's a combination of an equal sign, all right, which stands for same shape, all right, or same size, all right, it's a value. And then this part on the top means the shape, all right. So again, same size and shape, all right. The piece on top is for similar figures, referring to the shape, and then the bottom refers to the size. So here we go. Here is our congruent statement. It says quadrilateral ABCD is congruent to triangle MNOP. Okay, so now, all right, now I don't have a figure for it because sometimes the figure can be distracting. The congruent statement tells you everything you need to know. All right, order is extremely important. All right, so I'm going to kind of make note. Order matters. Okay, so if I want to list the congruent angles, okay, these letters represent the angles. So I would say that, hey, angle A, well, is going to be congruent to, well, what's the first letter in the other congruent statement? It's M. So I know that angle A goes with angle M. That's all we got to do is just match up those parts. Here's B right here. I'll kind of underline that, use the same colors. Well, angle B is going to be congruent to angle, what's the second letter in the other congruent statement? It's angle N. O, or C, excuse me, goes with O. So we just say, hey, angle C is congruent to angle O. I think you guys get the idea, but here's D as well. D is on the end. Well, that must go with P. So angle D, all right, let's scroll down here, is congruent to angle P. Okay, so those congruent statement, the order matters. It tells you which parts correspond to each other. Now, if we want to list the segments, it's the same idea. Okay, we just go in order. Oops, let me erase these. You guys see where that comes from? All right, list the congruent sides. Well, there's going to be 4 sides. We know that AB, it's the first 2 letters. Segment AB is going to be congruent to, what's the first 2 letters in the other one? Segment MN. Okay, BC, first 2 letters, all right, or second 2 letters is going to go with NO, segment NO. Okay, CD is going to be congruent to segment, what's the last 2 letters over here? Well, it's going to be OP. And then obviously I've got I've got AD, first and last, is going to be congruent to, what's the first and last? Over here, it's MP. Now again, notice I put A first, then D, so I got to put M first, then P. I would not want to write P, then M, so keep that order important. And then down here, CPCFC, again, that just means corresponding parts of congruent figures are also congruent. Since these figures are congruent, the corresponding parts are then congruent as well. It's very self-explanatory. So simple idea, look for those congruent statements. Don't let the pictures distract you. The congruent statement will tell you everything you need to know. Okay, let's take a look at one more property we're going to learn and then a quick example. So it tells us here, all right, it has to do with triangles. We've spent a lot of time on triangles. It says the 2 angles of one triangle are congruent to 2 angles of another triangle. Then the third angle is congruent. Remember, they all have to add up to 180. Okay, so if you know 2 of the angles, the third one has to be congruent. So I'll use some numbers here in this picture, but if this one was, let's say that this one was 40 and this one was 60, well, 40 and 60 is 100, this has to be 80. So again, if this was 40 and 60, well, that third one has to be 80. So that's what it's telling you right here. So if you know 2, you know the third one's going to be congruent. Let's take a quick example, and then that'll be it for today. Find the value of X. Okay, well, notice your tick marks, okay? Well, this is 53, so that means that this one over here is 53. All right, the double tick marks is 92, so that means this one is 92. Okay, so that means that in both of these, this third angle's got to be the 10x plus 5. Well, what do all the angles of a triangle add up to? 180, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to say 53 plus 92 plus 10x plus 5 equals 180. And then we solve just like we've always had. 53 and 92, okay, so that's going to be 145, right? We're going to combine these numbers right here. 53 and 92, so that's going to be 145. And then we've got plus 10x plus 5 equals 180. Oops, I made a mistake. I can add this 5 as well. So that's going to be 10x plus 150 equals 180. I'm going to subtract the 150 minus 150 minus 150. So I'm going to get 10x equals 30. Divide by 10. I think you guys know this. Or excuse me, divide by 10. Sorry. Divide by 10. I was getting ahead of myself. So then we know that x equals 3. And there is our answer. And that's all I want to do, find the value of x. They may want you to find the value of the angle, so you may have to plug it in. So always answer the question. Okay, and that concludes our lesson.